This is Building Relationships with Kenny Ajibade, where you are enriched with strategic information to build successful, fruitful, and enriching relationships. I believe that our editions have been benefiting you so much. We also encourage you to join our YouTube community. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Relationship Man, Kenny Ajibade, so that you can always get to watch our videos as we upload them and be enriched through those mediums again. Today, I'm going to be talking about something wonderful and dynamic. I'm going to be talking about what I call a tale of two lovers. And it's something that would enrich you and open your eyes to some of the experiences that people go through in relationship. The wise King Solomon said something very profound and marvelous in his book of Proverbs, the 30th chapter and the 18th and 19th verses. He talked about what he called the mysteries of the world, the four mysteries of the world. And one of those four mysteries caught my attention. Here are the four mysteries. He said, the way of an eagle in the sky, the way a snake glides on a boulder, the path of a ship as it passes through the sea, and the fourth one, which really caught my attention, the way a bridegroom falls in love with his bride. The way a bridegroom falls in love with his bride. The way of a bridegroom and his bride, the way of a lady and a guy. And that talks about the dynamics of relationship. And it's the dynamic of what I call attraction. The way a young guy is attracted to a lady and then something, takes off from there. And it's amazing. And we need to look at that. That's what I want to look at today. That sparks, that initiates relationship. That thing that kicks off the chemistry in relationship. Relationship is a process. It's like what we have in the process of photosynthesis, where you have a catalyst, which is the sunlight. And it's the sunlight that kicks off the chemical reaction in photosynthesis. The same thing in the evolution of relationship. Attraction creates the spark that kicks off or initiates our relationships. And we need to pay attention to the power of attraction in relationship. God designed relationship in such a way that through attraction, we catch attention. Attraction, create the spark that starts off our relationship. Attraction produces that spark. And how does attraction begin? Attraction begins when you see something that you admire in somebody. Admiration. When you see what you admire, you appreciate it. There is something that tickles your fancy. There are elements, there are factors that make somebody attractive to you. And that's why it's not everybody that you see that you get attracted to. There are a lot of wonderful people, a lot of marvelous people, but you don't have that chemistry for them in relationship because there is something that just tickles your fancy, that just, sparks off a chemistry in your heart for somebody. And so, admiration produces attraction. Attraction commands attention. Attention inspires communication. When somebody, gets your attention, the next thing is you want to communicate with them. And communication initiates interaction. When we communicate, we begin to interact. And as we interact, we connect. And that's what relationship is. Relationship is connectivity. Relationship is connection. But there is no connection without interaction. There is no interaction without communication. There is no communication without attention. There is no attention without attraction. And there is no attraction without admiration. And so it's that kicks off our relationship. When we see what we admire, it catches our attention. We are drawn to it. And so it's the dynamics of relationship. And we always see that dynamics between people. In Genesis 24, the story of Rebekah and Abraham's servant, the story has it that from verse 16 to 17, that Rebekah was very beautiful and old enough to be married, but she was still a virgin. She went down to the spring, filled a jug, and came up again. And the servant ran over to her. And so it was her beauty that initiated that process. When she came up, on the scene at the waterfront, her beauty caught the attention of the servant. But what is that beauty? It's one of the things that I would like us to critically look at in one of our other episodes. What is that beauty? Is beauty just physical appearance, or is there more to beauty than physical appearance? We will look at that critically in our episode next week. But today we're looking at what that beauty creates, at the attraction, and that attraction creates a chemistry. It creates a dynamic reaction that begins a relationship. Attraction creates chemistry. But we must understand why I said this is a tale of two lovers is because chemistry can either produce one of two things, which we will see in the stories that we will examine today. Chemistry can either be a true appreciation, which leads to genuine affection, or chemistry can also be a fatal attraction, which leads to selfish exploration. And that's why, I love the admonition of Paul. He was talking to us and he said in 1 Thessalonians 5:21, and which is an advice to everyone that will go into a love experience, into a love relationship. Paul said, put everything to the test. Accept what is good. He said, put the attraction to the test. Put the chemistry to the test. Test the attraction. What kind of chemistry is this person having for me? Is it true affection or fatal infatuation? Is it love or is it lust? Put it to the test of love. Check it against the attribute of love. Look out for the characteristics of love. Are they in this chemistry, in what this person is exhibiting towards me? Look at the traits that you see there. Is it traits of love, or is it traits of lust? What are the traits of love? In the chapter of love, which is 1 Corinthians 13, from verse 4 to 7, I read the what I call the easy translation of the Bible. We see some traits there which are peculiar and unique to love. And when we check what somebody exhibits towards us, we must look out for these traits to know whether it is true love or whether it is lust, whether it is affection or whether it is infatuation, because we can confuse these two things except we critically appraise them. In that chapter, the easy translation of the Bible says, if I love, I will be patient. If I love, I will be kind. If I love, I will not be jealous. I will not be proud. He said, I will be humble. He said, if I love, I will be polite. If I love, I will not be selfish. If I love, I will have self-control. If I love, I will be forgiving. If I love, I would celebrate. I will add value to you. And so those are the attributes we must look out for. This person's chemistry towards me, does it demonstrate self-control? Does it show, kindness, patience, politeness? Is it forgiving? What are the attributes of this person's relationship with me? Those are things that we must ask ourselves. And because in the true stories today, we'll see different elements, exhibited. The first story in the tale of two lovers is coming from Genesis chapter 29, verse 16 to verse 18, which is the story of Jacob and Laban's daughters. In Genesis 29, 16 and 18, hear this part of this tale today. This is the first part of the tale. of two lovers. Laban had two daughters. The elder was named Leah, and the younger Rachel. Leah had lovely eyes, but Rachel was shapely and beautiful. Jacob was in love with Rachel, so he said, I will work 7 years for you if you will let me marry Rachel. Wow. Jacob's attraction to Rachel made him place value on her to the point of willing to sacrifice 7 years of his life for her. It was pure admiration, true affection, appreciation, and it inspired him to place value on her. And these are the attributes of true affection. True affection waits. True affection sacrifices. True affection places value on its love. True affection adds value to you. It appreciates you and not depreciates you. Eventually, he labored for a total of 14 years to marry Rachel. And that is wonderful. But on the other side, let's look at the second side of the story of love today. The second side is found in 2 Samuel chapter 13. And I read some verses from there, verses 1 to 3, 6 to 12, 14 and 15, and also verse 17. And let's hear this other story. Now, David's son, Absalom, had a beautiful sister named Tamar. And Amnon, her half-brother, fell desperately in love with her. Do you note that? Desperately in love with her. I'd like you to note that. When love is desperate, what does it imply? When love is all over you, it's desperate. What does it mean? Amnon became so obsessed with Tamar that he became ill. Obsession, desperation. Look at the attributes of this love. Tamar was a virgin, and Amnon thought he could have her. Wow. Look at that other attribute. He wanted to have her. He wanted to have sex with her. That was the drive. The desperation, the obsession was a sexual drive. And where does it lead to? That's why you need to always ask yourself, what's the focus of the love that this person has for me? Is it to appreciate me? Is it to add value to me? Or is it to explore me? Is it towards getting from me? Or is it towards giving to me? What is this love all about? The story had it that Haman, he feigned sickness so that the king could come and see him. And when David came to see him, Amnon asked him, please, let my sister Tamar come and cook my favorite dish as I watch. Then I can eat it from her own hand. So David agreed and sent Tamar to Amnon's house to prepare some food for him. When Tamar arrived at Amnon's house, she went to the place where he was lying so he could watch her mix dough. Then she baked his favorite dish for him. But when she set the serving tray before him, he refused to eat. Everyone get out of here, Amnon told his servant. So they all left. Then he said to Tamar, now bring the food into my bedroom and feed it to me. So Tamar took his favorite dish to him. But as she was feeding him, he grabbed her and demanded, come to bed with me, my darling sister. No, my brother, she cried. Don't be foolish. Don't do this to me. Such wicked things aren't done in Israel. But Amnon wouldn't listen to her. And since he was stronger than she was, he raped her. The obsession, the desperation of love. Look at what it led to. Exploitation. Then suddenly Amnon's love turned to 8. Wow. Isn't that amazing? And he hated her even more than he had loved her. Get out of here. He snarled at her. He shouted for his servant and demanded, throw this woman out and lock the door behind her. Desperate love. Fatal attraction. Infatuation sees a beautiful flower and plucks it. Genuine affection sees a beautiful flower and waters it. Infatuation is out to exploit you, but true affection is out to celebrate you, to put value on you, to add value to you. Infatuation is a fatal, intense attraction for the selfish purpose of self-gratification. It is selfish lust confused for love, a desire to get satisfaction at the expense of the other person. And the moment that goal is achieved, everything changes. The dynamics changes. The intensity is no longer there. You wonder how somebody will come into your life and they are all over you. They call you every day. They buy you gift. They want to take you out. But all that is tailored towards one thing: getting your back on the bed. Or the lady just wants to exploit you. She wants to turn you to a sponsor. She wants to get money from you. And that's all she is after. And the moment she gets that, the moment he gets that, you are left behind. All of a sudden, your calls are not being taken. All of a sudden, it is too busy to call. And that's why we must always test the chemistry of love. Test it with time. Test it to validate what is actually there. What is this about? That's why give yourself time to prove things. Don't rush into conclusion. Give yourself time. Time always reveals the true intent of chemistry. Always give yourself time to test your relationship. I always tell people, don't go into the deep end of love very fast. Relate over time. Give yourself months and years if needed to validate people, to validate what they claim to have for you, so that at the end of the day, you don't fall victim of infatuation, because infatuation always dies with time, because it's just an obsession shown in desperation to satisfy a selfish personal desire at the expense of the other person. Infatuation pushes. It puts you under pressure. It defies reasoning and common sense, and it eventually destroys. Infatuation cannot wait for the right time to do the right thing. Infatuation says, we're going to be doing it when we get married. Why can't we do it now? But why don't we wait to do it at the right time? True affection, on the other hand, is demonstrated in respect. True affection respects your desire, respect boundaries, respect preference. It respects your value. It respects your beliefs. True affection respects you, does not defile you. So you must always check these two elements. Check the chemistry. Is it a product of infatuation, or is it a product of true affection? This is the common sense for successful relationship. This is one thing that I want you to learn today. Test everything. Hold on to that which is true. Test the chemistry and make sure that you don't jump into conclusion when you have not validated what you have. Thank you very much for being a part of the broadcast today. We appreciate every one of you that follows us. I have a class coming up that you can enroll for. It's a wonderful class. We're talking about the 3 elements of enduring and lasting relationships. And that class will enrich you. If you want to be a part of that class, just drop a note in the comment section. Drop class, and then we will send you the full details of that class. We appreciate you. We celebrate you. Don't fall victim of fatal attraction. May you have true affection in your love experience in Jesus' name. If you have any question, send your questions to us, and we will also send you, the answers. Thank you very much. May God bless you. May God keep you. May your relationship give you a fulfilling experience, a worthwhile experience in Jesus' mighty name. God bless you. Thank you very much. See you again next week. Thank you.